All right, good morning. Today we're going to take you through a Visio ball at-home movement piece that you can do on your own. Jenna and I had this conversation that so many people have these balls at home and so many people let them collect dust. They don't really know how to use them. So we thought we would do a video with some integrative movements that you can do that will help strengthen and lengthen some tissues and hopefully add to your body maintenance and your at-home practice. So the first thing we're going to note is that Jenna is using a smaller ball, okay? I think as long as you don't have the super large, really big ball, unless you're somebody who's like 6'3" or above, most of these exercises are going to work, but having the right size ball is kind of a part of this. So just be mindful of that. If some of the movements don't feel like they fit your body, or it feels awkward, it's more because the ball isn't the correct size for you. So the first thing we're going to do is actually start with a breathing piece to kind of move around some of the abdominal tissues, warm up the diaphragm, and then also give your viscera, or like the organs, a little bit of a massage and some sensory input so they understand what's happening. So Jenna's going to go ahead and she's going to put her belly on the ball, and then she'll find a comfortable position. We both think that forearms are preferred here. And then you can either let your toes be on the ground, not on the ground. Okay, and if you do drop your head, you're not going to drop it fully. You don't want it to dangle, okay, but you just want to kind of keep it in line with the rest of your body. All right, and you see she kind of has a rhythmic back and forth, which works. And then she's just breathing into her stomach, okay? So she's encouraging her diaphragm to push down as she takes a breath in. And when she breathes out, she's either going to just do it with a nice, like, relaxing, sigh to herself, or she's going to actively try to draw her navel away from the ball and towards her spine, okay? And you might hang out here for like 2 to 4 minutes, okay? Again, it's a really good way to, a lot of shortening happens in between the rib cage and the pelvis, and that starts to cause a lot of weird, inefficient movements throughout the extremities and the rest of the torso. So just starting with some breathing, and again, this abdominal massage using the ball is a really, I would say it's a great and a good feeling way to start any sort of movement piece, especially if you're going to be using the ball. But yeah, and I would also say if it feels uncomfortable, that's normal. You got to think that you're putting some pressure onto like your large and small intestines, your liver. But some of the nice things is it gives your psoas in the front of your low back some support, so a lot of muscles are able to relax. And when we talk about balancing the body basically consists of strengthening certain muscles that are underused and or dormant, and then trying to relax the muscles that are overworking habitually and basically being overused. So anyways, this was a nice little 2-minute kind of meditation prep piece that Jenna just got to do, and now we'll get into the actual movement piece. So we're going to start on your back, okay? And you'll notice that she has a ball, a yoga mat, so that she's not on a super hard surface, and she has a yoga block on the other side of her. Okay, so after you lay on the ball, you just want to let your spine settle for a second. Try to bring awareness to your abdominal cavity and just notice if you have some extra space there or things feel like a little bit more relaxed. And then you're going to take the ball and put it on your thighs. Okay, your hands are on the front part of the ball, and all I want you to do is start to press into your palms, okay, and breathe. All right, and what you can do with your breath is start to rock your pelvis forward and backward, so anteriorly and posteriorly. And I think it's important to note you don't want to give 100% effort when you go into these ranges of motion. It's usually better to try less, okay, like do a little bit less, and just start small basically. We don't want to go from extreme to extreme, and you don't want to put stress on tissues that often experience stress. So if you go too much in either direction, you can just kind of exasperate stresses on the muscles. Okay. Now, eventually, Jen is going to find what we're going to refer to as like a neutral pelvis. Okay. And basically, it's like where her sacrum, your sacrum at home, is broad, pushing into the floor, and your low back is on the ground. Okay. And then all we're going to do is take a breath in, push into the ball, and then on an exhale, let go of some of that pressure. And we'll just do that a couple of times. Okay. So we're kind of feeling the upper back work, mid back, and we're starting to talk to the thoracolumbar fascia, which is in your low back region. Okay. Now keeping your hands firm, all I want you to do is pick up your right foot a little bit. All right. You might even flex the ankle, and then you'll bring it down, and you'll do the left foot. Okay. So this is like a beginner exercise. And what you really want to focus on is the thigh that is, the foot that's lifted, that thigh is pressing into the ball with good pressure. Okay, nice. And then we'll do the left. All right, and now this time you're going to pick up the right. You'll pause and you're going to reach your right arm back. Okay, and then you'll bring them both down, pick up your left foot, and the left arm reaches back. Fantastic. Okay, we'll do one more on each side. And here's the last one. All right. Now you're going to take the ball into both hands over your chest. Okay, do your best to press into your feet and keep your spine flat, and then just reach your arms back, take a breath, and then bring it all the way forwards. Okay, if you notice that your low back or your mid back is coming off the ground, I want you to use your abdominals in the front to try and keep the ribs closer to the spine and the rest of your spine pressing into the mat. Good, let's do one more. All right, fantastic. Then you're going to put the ball back onto your thighs. Great. Okay, you're going to hold, you're going to reconnect with the back of your body, sending your breath to fill up as much of your shirt and torso as possible. All right, and then all we want to do is bring the right knee halfway towards the chest. Okay, good. All right, and then your right ankle is going to be higher than your knee. There we go, and you hold here. All right, as long as you can have an active breath, thinking about pulling that navel down, you can hold here, and then you can also reach your right arm back. Okay, and now Jenna's emphasizing left hand and right knee pushing into the ball strongly. Okay, then whenever she's ready, she'll switch sides. So this is a progression from the first movement we just did. All right, and a lot of these repetitions that we're doing, you can do 2 to 8 reps per side. It's really not necessarily about how many you do, but it's how you hold it and how much of your body do you recruit to perform the movement. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Let's do the other side one more time. All right, and then we do the left. Fantastic. Okay, you'll take the ball back over your shoulders and chest. Okay, now this time what I want you to do is start to round your spine up. So you're going to posteriorly tilt, roll your vertebrae off the floor, reach your arms back. Okay, and then your arms will come forward, and then your vertebrae will roll back to the floor. Beautiful. All right, and let's do that one more time. So pelvis first, then the arms. So you're like a wave. When you go up, it's legs first, arms second. When you go down, it's arms first, legs second. Fantastic. Okay, and we'll progress it this time. So again, a posterior tilt. You're going to roll the spine up, reach the arms back. All right, and then you're going to come forward. Good. Rolling each vertebra down to the ground individually. Good. And then you'll just pick up your legs to 90-90 here. You might just hold. Okay, let's do 2 reps, take the ball back. Okay, Jenna's spine is still flush with the floor. Okay, so think about, would you be able to fit a hand under the small of your back? And your goal is to get that area down. Good, now put the ball on your knees, keep your legs up, put the hands in the front. All right, you might just take a moment here, push all 4 extremities into the ball. Perfect. All right, now if this at any point gets too difficult, you would just bring your feet down, okay? And when you're ready, let's lower the feet. Just take a rest by pushing your hands into the ball onto your thighs. All right, and then we'll go over the last progression. So let's do right thigh halfway to the chest again, okay? And then what you're going to do is press into your left heel, pick up the hips. And remember, less is more, so you don't need to come super high up and then reach your right arm back. Okay, and if you feel like this is too much for you or it aggravates, your low back or your hip or something, don't do it. All right, let's do the other side. And I also think it's important to note when you're doing this alone, let yourself hear yourself breathe. Okay, we don't want to strain the throat muscles by being quiet with it. That's kind of the nice thing about doing this stuff alone is you get to be as loud and expressive as you want to be. Okay, you want to be able to feel your lungs and heart working. Yeah, come on down. All right, fantastic. Take that ball back. Okay, this time just lift your hips. Good, and then just 2 times with the ball, forward and backward. We'll keep the hips up this time. Good, so keep the hips where they are. Fantastic. All right, and pause, lower the spine down. And then pick up your legs to a dead bug position. Put the ball on your knees. All right, and now all 4 extremities pushing into the ball again. Okay, you can stay here. Okay, I want you to be able to retract or pull that navel down. Okay, so you have to put your mind's eye into your core and say, how do I pull it down when I breathe out? Okay, now you can stay here or you can do a full dead bug, which is going to be right arm back, left leg forward. Okay, you hold for a moment and then you switch. Okay, you can stay for as long as you like. But I think it's important to note that the lower your straight leg gets to the floor, the more difficult it is, okay? So if you're in this position that Jenna's in and your low back is off the ground, just get that leg higher up toward the ceiling. Perfect, thanks for doing that. And this is the last one, all right? And that's 4, and then you can bring your feet down. All right, why don't you hold the ball over your chest. Walk your feet as wide as the mat. Pick up your butt like an inch. All right, and then just windshield wiper your knees side to side. Okay, so this can be a good way to just target your outer and inner hips a little bit after doing a lot of this abdominal work. Okay, last one we're going to do on our backs, and then we're going to flip over to a different position. So spine comes down, okay, and I want you to put the ball between your shins. Okay, might feel awkward at first, but that's fine. We're not here to be super comfortable. We're here to get outside of our comfort zone. All right, Jenna flexes her ankles. She can squeeze her fists. Hands can be up toward the ceiling like this, or they can be on the ground by the pockets. Basically, I want you to figure out how to engage your arms. That's what matters here, okay? And then all you're going to think about, besides keeping your lumbar vertebrae on the floor, is squeezing that ball. I want you to try and pop it with the insides of your calves, all right? And then you're going to be starting to experience like a leg trembling on the inner thighs, and that tells us that we have the right idea. And then you can always distract yourself with your arms. You can take them back, you can take them forward, all right? But good active breathing, okay, and getting those adductors to work. If you have read any of my previous blog posts, I actually write about how you need your adductors to work in order to get your transverse abdominis, which is going to be your deepest abdominal muscle, to turn on. You need them to work in unison. Anyways, I'll include a link to that below the video. And whenever you're ready, you can just grab that ball. Fantastic, okay. All right, why don't we roll over to a tabletop and we'll finish with just a couple of other movements that you can do. Now, one thing we don't have in the video is like any padding for Jenna's knees. If you're somebody, being on your knees bothers you, basically there's too much stress landing on like where the patella is. So you would either fold the mat over, you can put a blanket, a towel down, anything that provides extra cushioning and padding. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we'll come back to that belly on ball position. Okay, fantastic. And then you're going to start to come forward a little bit. Okay, and I want you to bend your knees and try to press your thighs into the ball. So this is the equivalent to what we were doing on our backs. All right, and then from here, you want to try and flatten your back. So if you do that little bit of a pelvic rock, you can see Jenna went into a posterior tilt, flattening her low back, and then pull your chin toward your heart more. Beautiful, okay? You might stay here. Okay, this might be enough work for you. Okay, you're thinking about your belly again, you're breathing in, you're trying to let your stomach push into the ball to give it that feedback, but on an exhale, you're trying to actively pull it away from the ball. And that's just a visual cue. Your stomach might not come off the ball, and that's fine. Okay, now to do the full movement, Jenna's going to put both of her hands on the front of the ball. All right, and then find that posterior tilt again. There you go. Okay, she might just pause here. Her thighs are pushing into it, her palms are pushing into it, everything's good. She's solid on that ball. Okay, you could hang out here for a minute, and it's great for the back body. It helps to relax the front body a little bit. Okay, now another progression is to reach the arms back. Good, and keep your elbows bent a bit. There you go. Nice. Okay, and then you can bring the arms forward. Again, any of these positions you can hang out as long as you want. Now bring your hands down, flat. Yeah, and you're going to straighten your legs so you're fully over the ball. Okay, and walk your hands forward a couple of inches, like 6 inches, even more. Reach through those armpits. Okay, even more. More tented fingertips. There you go. Okay, and then on this one, you're just going to pick up your right arm and your left leg on one breath, and then lower it, and then do the other side. All right, let's just do 2 more, Jenna, for the sake of having 2.5 minutes left. All right, and she's just doing a couple here, but again, you can do anywhere from like 2 to 8. The idea is to feel when you pick up 2 of the extremities, what happens to your pelvis on the ball? Do you feel like you're going to fall off? And basically that's when we can start to target specific areas of the pelvis that might be out of balance. Great, let's walk those hands back, put your knees on the floor. All right, now you're going to take karate hands close to the ball. All right, and this next one, give me a small posterior tilt, and then you're just, bring your hands a little closer to your body. Yeah. And then you're just going to roll forward, do your forearms naturally, land on the ball, and then come back. Okay, this is a more advanced movement. Okay, so if you're somebody who has like weak shoulders, frozen shoulder, neck issues, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Even if you're someone with a weak low back or like the front of the abs don't really support your spine that well, if any of those progressive exercises we did on the floor were difficult, you might not do this because what you don't want is for your back to break. And Jenna, why don't we show one sloppy rep? So like let your back basically fall towards the floor even more. Like, yeah, this is like, you would not want this on the low back. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you just don't want to feel like you're kind of like becoming a hammock as you go forward. All right, so take the ball in your hands. Good. And then reach forward. Okay, 1 or 2 times, you're just going to reach up, doing your best to keep your ribs down and not collapsing into your low back. So you'll notice as her arms go up, she doesn't like fall into her low back. She doesn't flare her ribs out, and she doesn't like shift her pelvis forward or anteriorly dramatically. She keeps her pelvis over her knees. All right. And then on the next one, the ball will come down. You're going to bring your left leg forward. Good. Keep the ball up. All right. And then all you're going to do is just take the ball to the left. Good. Back to the middle. To progress this, ball left, right knee comes up. Good. Come down. Switch legs. To the right. And to progress it, you would pick the back knee off the ground. Again, 2 to 8 reps is fine. Okay. Fantastic. Well, this is our video tutorial this week. Let us know what you think, and thanks so much for watching.